We continue looking at one more important aspect of a person's financial life called housing. Housing is important but simple. Everyone must aim to acquire a dwelling place. A roof over your head is not just an asset, it is also something that provides psychological comfort both to a family and to an individual. So, it would be a good thing to acquire one dwelling place. And today, there are a lot of tax benefits associated with both house ownership as well as housing loans. So, while we are generally against taking loans, a loan for a productive purpose like housing is something that we will not object to if it is required. One thing that should be remembered is that acquiring a house is important, regardless of whether there are tax benefits. World over and even in India, we are very good at confusing issues. Sometimes we make certain investments or we undertake certain operations, not because the operations are good, simply to avoid tax. Tax is not more important than issues like either insurance or investment or housing. For a moment, let us understand the difference between housing and taxation associated with the housing loan. There are people today who take housing loans and buy properties simply for the tax benefits. Let me turn around the question and ask it from another angle. Let's say in the forthcoming budget, once and for all, the government decides to abolish all tax benefits associated both with housing loans as well as house ownership. Everything gets abolished. Does that mean that we will stop buying houses? People will still need shelter. People will still grumble a little bit, but they will still be buying houses. So, housing is more important than the tax benefit attached to it or attached to a housing loan. If you need a house, you take a housing loan, and you also avail of the existing tax benefits, that is perfectly fine. In fact, it would be foolish not to do so. But let us please understand in the order of importance. It is first insurance, investment, housing, next tax benefits. Moving ahead, a house or apartment is essential for a person who has not already acquired a residence or is not fortunate enough to inherit one. Many times, there can be only one child in a family. Parents already own their residence. For such a person who is likely to inherit that residential house or apartment, further housing may not be an absolute priority. So, maybe money can go into other types of investments